Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our weekly topic. I am here with Rory, of course, and we are delighted and excited to have here with us today Italian podcaster, comedian, Roma fan, but nonetheless Europea striker, Mr. Daniele Tinti. Welcome, Daniele.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's an honor, I have to say.
Really? Why is it an honor? Let's put you on the spot right away.
No, because the Anglo-Italian pod, when I told my friends I was coming here, they were like, "Wow, what? The Anglo-Italian pod and Kashmir, the same weekend? It's amazing, Daniele. Your career is going up."
Finally, we're getting the respect we deserve. It's good to hear, Tommy. We're finally getting it.
So Daniele I know him. I discovered him as a stand-up comedian. That I discovered his podcast, Tintoria. And today, on this very Friday, he's the guest in two different podcasts. Italy's #1 podcast, Kashmir, and Italy's #2 podcast, the Anglo-Italian Pod. So what a Friday for you.
Doing the double.
Big Friday, big Friday.
Big Friday. How are you doing, Daniele?
I'm good. Yes, I have to say I'm good.
What's the weather like in Rome today?
Beautiful. Spring started and it's nice. It's nice warm weather. Yes. Where are you guys?
We are in Milan. We are in the second capital of Italy. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful day here too today. You could honestly, it feels like Rome almost.
Oh, nice.
Well, I have to ask you, because I was talking to my girlfriend recently about living in Rome, and she warned me off the idea massively. How do you feel living in Rome? Do you enjoy living in that city? She told me it's very chaotic.
Yes, I love it, but it's exhausting. Everything is exhausting. Like driving is exhausting, parking is exhausting, going places is exhausting. So at the end of the day, you're exhausted. And Romans express exhaustion. I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah.
With screaming and being rude. So yeah, at the end of the year, you were mad for most of your days, but it's a beautiful city and it's nice to live in it. It comes with a price. Yes, definitely takes a toll on you.
Do you see any parallels between the frustration caused by living in Rome and the frustration caused by supporting AS Roma?
Absolutely, yes. They are, it's definitely part of who we are. We are passionate and frustrated people at the same time. And yes, supporting Roma is the same. Every year you're like, okay, I'm giving everything to this team, and every year we go home with nothing.
But this week, we're going to get to it in a second. This week is a particularly good week to be a Roma fan and to have you here with us. But let's start from the very beginnings, Daniele. So we were talking about it a little bit off mic. What makes you a Roma supporter? Was it in the genes or was it a decision?
No, it was definitely a decision, because I was born in Rome, but I grew up in a different town. It's called L'Aquila, and as all the cities around Italy, it's filled with Juve fan, Milan fan, and Inter fan. But I was born in Roma. I had a few Roma friends, and then there was Totti in Roma, so it was nice to have an idol. But I don't come from a football family, so yes, I had to do all the work by myself. I didn't even watch games when I was a kid. We didn't have the private channels to watch games, and I was too young to go to bars. So yeah, I had to do it all by myself, and now it's fine.
Well, I think because for me, growing up, Italian football was always in my house, and I kind of fell in love with Totti, and Roma were always the Italian team I would watch and follow. I'm glad that we've gotten to Totti so early. What do you think it is about him that people just utterly fall in love with him? Because I'm a little bit obsessed with him as well. What do you think it is about him? Not just that he was a great player, but that the city of Rome really is like in love with him.
Well, for Roma fans, it's because it's crazy, because he's like he's different than us. He's different than De Rossi. He's like, because De Rossi, he's one of us. He's one of us who made it, who gave everything for the shirt, for the jersey, and he's one of us. Totti isn't even one of us. Totti is like a god that came from us and then ascended to a higher level. So it was like having this god in our team, and we could watch him every Sunday. It was crazy. And then, of course, yeah, he was born in Roma, always a Roma fan, stayed in Roma. So it was this thing is like, okay, he's one of us, and then all of a sudden he wasn't one of us anymore. He stayed with us, but by his grace we received beautiful football on Sundays. But he was a god amongst humans, and so that thing became, and he's actually like a nice normal man, funny man who can't walk around his own city because people get crazy. But yeah, he's a fine man, but to us he's a god. It's weird.
Would it be possible to ever see him at your podcast, Tintoria?
I wish. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's I don't know. He's pretty unreachable, but I would love to.
And you would probably be wearing gloves before you touch him and everything, not to damage the structure.
Yes, I'm afraid I would fanboy too hard. I would. But it was amazing because when he stopped playing, I realized what he really meant to me, and it's crazy because I think it's unhealthy to idolize someone the way I idolized him. It's not okay. Yeah, because he stopped playing. I was, I think, 26, and I couldn't stop crying. I went to the game and I cried the whole time. The whole time he was talking to us at the end of the game through the microphone. And
concedetemi un po' di paura.
Yes, that sentence changed my life. Like because he was a god, like he was Superman, right? So for my entire, I don't remember Roma before Totti, and for my entire life, he was someone that I idolized him in a very biblical way. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have a false god. He was my false god, and I didn't even know, because every time I thought of him, every time I saw him, all I gave him was love. I loved him all the time. So if you have something or someone that you only, I don't know how to say, but if you only put love on that person, every time you see that person, every time you hear of that person, you're gonna receive love, just like God. It works the same way, but that's not a God, that's a person. So for my entire life, if he scored, I was happier. On Monday, I went to school. He scored a goal. I was like, okay, it's a good Monday, and that's not a healthy way of living. You shouldn't have an idol of that level. And I think I'm sure I'll never have that again, and it'll never happen for me. I'm happy it happened. I'm happy I had that, but I'm also happy I don't have that anymore. It's a nice story that's over.
So for our English listeners, what he said, concedetemi un po' di paura, he said, allow me now, with a microphone in his hand, while our friend Daniele was crying, allow me to feel some fear. And I guess that for a kid, seeing that guy as a god, when he says, allow me to feel some fear, it feels human all of a sudden.
Yes, it was crazy. Like Superman is afraid. He has fear. So now I need to grow up. Now I don't have that anymore. So now I need to be a man and take responsibilities for my life, because I don't have someone who is, in my eyes, perfect and invincible that can take the burden for me. It was really crazy. Yes.
Well, I feel like, did you watch I assume you've watched the Totti documentary, right? I assume you've watched it several times, but I thought the moment they film him in the tunnel before he goes out to make that speech, and you see him just sat down and he's having a moment's thought. And I think the kind of, you see him there realizing that this is the last moment. Like, as a kind of partial Roma fan, that video makes me emotional. So I can't imagine how emotional it made you, but I think it is like, it's a beautiful, beautiful moment. So you were in the stadium for that?
Yes, wow. I was in the stadium, and of course, Roma is always Roma. So we go there, we need to win to get to the Champions League. First minute, we are down 1-0. And we're like, oh, come on, not today, not today. And it was all like, then we are like, okay, 1-1, 2-1 for them. And we are like, oh, come on, Roma, don't do this. And then at the end, we made it, and it was, yes. But at that moment, when I watched the documentary, was I cried again during the documentary. And also they had a TV show, like a fiction about that.
Okay, yeah.
Again, but because for him, all he thinks is to play football. Like all he has, like he's just a kid, but with a phenomenal football mind, and he's still playing. He's playing eight aside. He's in the top level of my same league. Like it's called. I'm in the Serie B Calcio. Then there's Serie A, and then there's Elite. I don't know, but it's the same league. Like if I had a better team, we could go and eventually play against Totti. It will never happen. But he plays. He plays eight aside.
Wait, sorry, I have a question, Daniele. Is it if you had a better team or if your team had a better striker? What's
no, it's both. Like we all suck, but it's fine. We enjoy it. But he has a team, and the name of the team is Totti. It's not even Roma. Roma is a different team, and then there's Lazio also has a team in this league. So there's derbies, and then there's Lazio versus Totti. And last year Lazio won their Scudetto of the eight aside. So in Roma is still mocking Totti, and then Totti is mocking Lazio when he scores against Lazio in this.
This is like crazy serious for like goals on a Wednesday night.
Yes, you can find highlights on YouTube. But yeah, it's crazy. It's super serious for something that is absolutely not serious at all.
I just love that he's still playing. Every so often, I remember seeing a video of him scoring a free kick that was like unbelievable, that went viral and stuff. I can't imagine like you're kind of stretching, warming up, and then you see Totti just strolling onto the pitch. I don't know how I'd react. Like
it's crazy that he's still playing, but that's what he does. Like he's here to play football, and he never, some great players became great coaches, or at least tried to become coaches. He never even. I don't think he knows that much about football even. Like he's just good at it. Like he's just good at football. And without much tactic behind it, he was born to play it.
So I was going to ask you about the Scudetto 2001. Of course, it wasn't only Totti. Before we talk about that moment, is there any other personality that you really liked in that 2001 Scudetto team?
Well, I've always been attracted to strikers, so of course Batistuta I loved immediately, and I used to love him when he played for Fiorentina as well, because that's the ultimate striker. He just goes there and with a supreme power he scores. So yeah, I definitely love Batistuta.
And do you think, this is a bit of a provocative question, but realistically, will anything ever replace the Scudetto 2001 in a Roma fan's heart?
No, yeah, sure. Because like for me, I was 10 years old, and my family didn't watch games, so I know we were winning the Scudetto, but I didn't. I only went to the stadium once. A friend of mine brought me to the stadium to watch Roma Fiorentina 1-0. Batistuta scores and cries. It was beautiful, but yeah. So for me, like winning a Scudetto now would be better than 2001 because I was 10. So it feels like I didn't even enjoyed it that much. Then my mother brought me to the Circo Massimo to the huge concert to celebrate the victory. But for me, winning again would be amazing. It feels like I've been waiting my entire life because I was only 10 and I wasn't there. So I'm still waiting for my Scudetto, and it's a long way.
Your own Scudetto.
Yeah, for my moment. My time hasn't come yet, but it's fine.
Sorry, because that team was like full of like big names. I think people kind of forget, like, because Emerson was in that team, right? Cafu played in that team as well. Like,
yes, no, it was a brilliant team. We were the best team, and the year after we were even better because we were the same team. But Emerson played full time because in 2001 he was injured a lot, and we had Cassano. So it was the next year we were even better, but yeah, we couldn't do it. We ended up second.
Yeah, so this is something I wanted to ask you about as well, because one of my favorite strike partnerships in football of all time is Totti and Cassano. I love going back and watching how they play together. Like, are they your favorite partnership that Roma have had? Like, how much did you enjoy that partnership? Because I thought it was beautiful to watch at times.
I loved it. It was beautiful, and it is beautiful to go back. But then it has that bittersweet thing that like it didn't last, and Cassano went a bit Cassano.
That's what he's like, right?
Yeah, that's what he's Totti also wrote a book, like he wrote a book with someone after he stopped playing, and he says Cassano is the best player I've ever played with, because he was beautiful, and together they were amazing. They were finding each other at all times, and they were unstoppable. But it only lasted for like 2 seasons maybe, and then it was over fast, and then he went to Madrid, and his head was never right. We enjoyed it a little bit, like when he went back to Sampdoria. I was happy for him that he was amazing, and then of course he stole us a Scudetto. Not stole us, but we lost Sampdoria, and we lost a Scudetto in 2010, and so it was bad again. But it's football.
He didn't steal anything. Inter won that Scudetto in 2010.
Yeah, maybe Inter stole it.
What? Okay, we will invite you another time to talk about the beautiful days of the Inter-Roma rivalry, which was a true thing. After Juventus,
was a very true thing.
Very true.
Every year, Inter did it by like 1 point, by goal difference. It was just always a bit too much, right?
Brutal, because every year it was like we played twice for the Scudetto, then twice in Coppa Italia, then in the Supercoppa Italiana, because and we pretty much always lost. And
because Juventus,
I still hate Inter because of that. Like after Lazio and Juventus, which of course I hate Inter by far the most.
Well, I remember this was crazy, Daniele. I'm sure you remember this. I was watching it from another perspective compared to you.
Yeah, sure.
But Inter and Roma were fighting for the title on the last match day. Inter were playing away at Parma, and Roma were playing away at Catania.
Yeah.
And at halftime, Inter were drawing 0-0, and Roma were winning, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So for 45 minutes, you were champions of Italy.
But yes, then Ibra came in and scored twice. And then Catania was being relegated if they didn't win. And then Catania being Catania, there was this sort of pitch invasion of Catania fans that started to threat the Roma players. Were like, yo, if we don't win this, you're not leaving the pitch. And then Inter was winning. And then we were like, okay, so we're losing this one.
Yeah, because the thing was that we
also has this kind of sometimes it can happen that you need to lose.
It's a colorful country, Italy. We've talked about. We had a special episode in which we talked about Palermo's president Zamparini some time ago.
Yes.
So our listeners are aware of our national football. But I wanted to ask you one thing about Cassano. Are you into what his current project alongside Christian Vieri?
I don't watch that a lot. Sometimes I get clips on YouTube, but sometimes it's interesting. They have nice guests, and I love hearing former football players talking about football, because they know what's up. They know how to talk about it, and they understand things that we don't understand. But sometimes they are too rhetorical. They're too fixated on some things, and sometimes they say simply stupid things. Even if you're a former player, you can have a stupid opinion, and sometimes you're like, come on.
Especially Antonio Cassano. He has a tendency to find the bullshit to really leverage on.
Yes.
But let's get to this season, Daniele. So you hate Inter Milan, and I love it, but we have something in common finally. A man named José Mourinho. Now, I want to hear, what was your first reaction when you heard that he had been appointed as Roma's manager?
No, I was excited. I was super excited, and all my friends were excited, because like it's been a long time since, as you know, it's been a very long time since since the Inter days, and during these years we were like, okay, who we would like? Mourinho, someone that you can live and die for. You're the man that you follow, because we need that in Rome, because we tend to get crazy and to hate our coach and our team pretty fast. And so you need someone who has the resume to say, shut the fuck up and listen to me. So we were very excited. I was very excited when Mourinho came, and maybe too excited, because then the season started, and first 5 games we get 5 wins, and after that it's been rough. We play bad football, and I know we won the derby, but Roma is not good this year. Roma is not a good team. We play shitty football, and it sucks. It sucks that you watch the game and you're like, yeah, we're not doing anything, and yes, now it seems like defense is getting a little bit better. But on offense, sometimes you're like, there's no way we can score. We're not doing anything to score.
Mm-hmm.
So with any other coach, he would have been sacked a long time ago. Because it's Mourinho, he still has time. He's going to be here next year for sure. And hopefully next year we're going to be a little bit better.
Is it something that's like very important to Roma fans, like how beautiful the football is you play? Because I think there's some clubs where it doesn't, like Juventus, I think they don't give a shit how they play. They just want to win. Like, is it important in general to Roma fans how beautiful the football is?
Not really. Not really. No, but even in Juventus, like they don't care, but as long as they win, and even when they win, they're like, oh, we should play better. They're a whole different animal. You know, being a Juve fan is weird. I have so many Juve fan friends, but yeah, that's a whole different thing. I don't know how you can do that, but I don't know.
It's a strange one.
Yes, it's 20 million of them in Italy, so you can do it somehow, I guess. So many of them. No, but for us, no, we don't care. If we play shitty and we win, we are more than happy. Give me 31-0 to us. I don't care.
Okay.
When Inter Milan won the Scudetto with Mourinho in 2010, and we had Ranieri, we were playing out of luck, and we were the happiest fans in the world. Sometimes we won, we didn't even know how we were. No,
I remember the football at Roma was beautiful under Spalletti, the first Spalletti stint with Aquilani, Totti, and all the likes.
Mancini, Taddei, Pizarro. Yeah, that's
Taddei, what a player! Yeah,
that's my favorite Roma of all time because those are the high school years when I went. I started to buy tickets to go watch the Roma in the Champions League, and I went on a bus alone from L'Aquila to Roma to watch the game, and I loved it. I loved the Roma. It was beautiful, and of course I'm a bit of a Totti fan, but you can only play that with Totti because yes,
just a little bit.
Totti falso nueve. Yeah, not but a little bit outside of the box, and then with three trequartista behind him, and you give him the ball all the time, and he either shoots or sets him up, and it was beautiful, unpredictable. I loved it. I really loved it.
So you're on top of a cliff. You have to throw one down: Fonseca or Mourinho?
No, I'll throw Fonseca. I don't give a fuck about. I don't care about Fonseca. And also Mourinho is a Roma coach now, so I will support him no matter what.
So what should be Roma's objectives from now to the end of the season? And it will actually be two questions for me this time. I wanted to ask you about this mysterious new competition, the Conference League. Have you been watching it? Is it exciting? Is it fun? Do you wish Roma to win it?
The Inter Milan fan, the mysterious competition. What a competition. It's the third European competition. Yes, of course, I've been watching.
Mysterious because it's new, because we didn't have it before.
No, I have to say, when I first saw last summer the list of the teams that were in it, I didn't recognize one. They were like, it's not even, sometimes you play Europa
even Spurs.
No, okay, Spurs, of course. There were some teams that were like, I never heard of it. Because sometimes in Europa League, you go to Kazakhstan, you're like, okay. But at this point, I know the first Kazakhstan team, but this is like the fourth Azerbaijan team. Like, what the fuck is this? Who are these people? And I was also like, who the fuck is Bodo Glimt? And then
I was going to ask you. So let's double up again. This is another question. So what are the hopes for Roma until the end of the season? What do you think of the Conference League? And tell us your Bodo Glimt experience, because I'm very excited about this one.
Okay, luckily I didn't see the 6-1 game because I was working, so I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch the 6-1 game, and all my friends were miserable.
Such a shame.
Yeah, no, they were miserable. On WhatsApp, I was like, okay, let's see. And then after 3-1, I was like, okay, let's not even check the phone because it feels bad. No, but I like the Conference League. I mean, we are in it, and it's a European competition. We haven't won a trophy in 10 years, 11 years, so it would be great to win it. It's super hard because now we're playing Bodo again, and I think we can beat Bodo. It's funny that we're playing again with the team that beat us 6-1, but it's okay. We can beat Bodo. But even if we do after that, it's Marseille. We really are not playing a good football, so it's gonna be really hard. We need to get really lucky to win this one. But it would be amazing to win a trophy, because it's been more than 10 years. I think it's it's bad.
Well, with this current squad, so you've got quite an influx of English players at the moment, and I find it quite interesting. Not many English players play abroad, and all of a sudden a lot of them play at Roma. So it started with Ashley Cole all that time ago, right?
Yes, he came here to to retire, basically.
Yeah. I don't think that was a successful.
No, he was bad. I always loved the English national team, because I was in love with David Beckham and Michael Owen. Yes, I had a few English idols, and then Rooney, and then Gerrard. So I used to play Pro Evolution Soccer back in the days.
Okay,
and
nice.
England as my international team. So I really love the English national team. So now to have English players, when Ashley Cole came, I was happy, but then he really played bad. But I'm really happy that Abraham is here.
So with Tammy Abraham, I think everyone in England kind of knew there was a player in there, but he hadn't really had much opportunity at Chelsea. It hadn't really worked out for him. Did you expect him to be as successful as he's been? And what do you think, how do you think his season's going?
The season is going great. I'm always in the negative, so when he came, I was like, okay, he's gonna suck. But and at first he couldn't score. He was really unlucky, but he couldn't score. Sometimes you're like, okay, just put it in, and he didn't do it. But now he's got his rhythm, and the team is playing for him a little more. He's got his confidence, which probably he didn't have at Chelsea, because also I think if you grow up if you grow up in a team, and then you're put in the first squad, and they're like, okay, so now it's Tammy. I hope Tammy is the greatest player ever, but you need time. Now in Italy, he has the freedom to make mistakes, and then we always support him no matter what. So I think it's definitely good for him.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying seeing him here. And there's one more player I'm going to ask about, because he is obviously on loan from Arsenal, and I think he's a very complicated player. I love Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think he plays like he's playing in the league with Totti, right? He plays like he's playing in a street league on Tuesday night. What do you think of him? Because I really enjoy playing him, but from what I'm getting, he's not had a great start.
No, he has not. But I for some reason, I like him. But it's just me, I have to say.
Okay, right.
It's just me. The fullbacks is a problem, because Karsdorp is okay. Maitland-Niles, sometimes you're like, what are you doing? And then on the left, Spinazzola hasn't come back. I forgot.
Where is he?
No, we lost him.
This often happens when a player gets injured in Rome. They go at Roma, they go to the medical facility, and then they just disappear for months, years.
So the thing I do with Spinazzola is that I don't even consider him a Roma player until he comes back. Until he can prove differently, I think he has stopped playing football. And then Vigna, I think he couldn't play with me in my team. He sucks. He's a bad football player. And but now we have Zalewski. Zalewski is nice. He's 19, 20 years old. Roma fan. We love him already, and that's bad for him, because that's the thing with Roma, that if we love you, that's a problem, because then we expect you, okay, we love you, that means you are Roberto Carlos. And maybe you're just a 19 years old kid who's not Roberto Carlos, who's doing his best, who needs time to improve, and we don't give you that. So we love you, you are our idol, and right now you're king of Rome, because we won the derby and you played great, but now we expect you to be great all the time. and that doesn't happen. Like it happened with Totti, and that's it. And now we expect for everyone to be like, okay, now be phenomenal every time. That's bad for players.
Be the Polish Totti from now on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We have a first question from our listeners. Since we were talking about young players, our friend from the Hopeless Wanderer podcast says, Roma have a number of promising young talents. Are there any we should look out for?
I used to like Darbo, but now Mourinho is not playing in him anymore. But he was nice. Last year he was calm, and he could handle the ball. He knew how to pass, when to keep the ball, when to hold the ball. So I really liked him. But then, Mourinho is weird with young players. If he doesn't like you, you're out. Yeah,
Villar was given a kick in the ass.
Yes,
of course, I had him in fantasy football because last year I saw him and I said, to me, he's a very good player. And then I have never seen a treatment like the one that Villar was reserved. So I follow him from the Instagram page of our podcast.
Yes.
And after that Bodo Glimt game, it all became very dark on his Instagram. He started posting, hey guys, do you think I should go back to university? Dude, right now he's playing in Spain, but he's also studying in university. I don't know what Mourinho did to him.
No, I don't know either, but he was out. And we loved him, like the supporters. We really liked Villar. And I think he liked it here. He liked it here. And after we won the derby, he posted Forza Roma or something like that. But yeah, if Mourinho doesn't like you, you're out. You're never going to play. So yeah, I would say Darbo. Darbo is interesting. Darbo is an interesting one. And,
good one.
Yes.
And another question that we have is realistic goals for Mourinho from here to the end of the season. What should Roma do from here to the end of the season?
Try and win the Conference League because we are there. We might as well try. And then, we have to be in Europe, preferibilmente Europa League next year and not Conference League. The Champions League is too far away for us. And not playing like this, you can get in the top 4.
And from our friend Stevie Wonder, 1984, which realistic, between brackets, realistic signings would you like to see in the summer at AS Roma?
I have no idea because I don't know how the market works anymore. Like, I don't understand money in football. It's crazy. So sometimes you spend 80 million and then 2 months after they tell you, hey, but you're broke. What are you doing? And you're like, oh, no, sorry. You sell everybody. And so I don't know, like, because I don't understand money in football anymore. It's like, okay, a team can buy this player. And then also, how much a player is valued, that's stupid also, because sometimes you see shitty player go for 60 million and then you see phenomenal players go for 60 million as well, and you're like, okay, so what's going on here?
Well, Juventus are being investigated for that at the moment, so
yes,
there is an investigation going on.
No, but I would like, there's a few, Raspadori, Frattesi, and Scamacca, they're still partially ours, I think, and they're playing nice in Sassuolo, so we could get one of them back. And yes, one of them, I would think. And then, because also I would like for Spinazzola to be back, but who knows? You know what's crazy? Eriksen came back before Spinazzola.
That's a very good point.
Yes, they went out at the same tournament, and Eriksen came back before Spinazzola. Eriksen almost died. Now we can say it because he's back. He experienced death, and he's back, and Spinazzola is not. So you know what I mean.
You have
really put the two together.
You have just given us our episode title. That's perfect. Eriksen came back before Spinazzola.
I'm so happy for Eriksen, and we all are. The other one is a normal injury, and he's not back yet.
Because he's at the Roma medical facility. That's where the magic happens. Witchcraft of some kind. Before we get to the funnier questions that we were asked by our listeners, since you're a comedian, I wanted to ask you, do you have any comedic Roma moment you have experienced in your life besides Bodo Glimt 6, Roma 1?
Oh my god. So comedic. I bet with a friend of mine that Roma would go through against Barcelona before we won 3-0. So I bet €1,000. And because it was impossible. So I was drunk with a friend of mine, and he was like, it's like, we're gonna do it, because I went to the game. I was like, I'm going because we're gonna do it, but I didn't believe it. I didn't.
Did you say €1,000?
Yeah, no. He was like, okay, so if we win, I'll give you €1,000, and if they win, you give me €1. And I was like, yeah, deal. And we made a video, of course. Another drunk friend of mine made a video. So I have video proof of this bet. And so I'm at the game with a friend of mine. And then we're winning 1, 2, 3. And it's crazy, it's crazy. And then the speakers say, okay, we're going through the Champions League semi-final. I never happened in my life that Roma went to the Champions. So it was insane. And I was like, oh, shit, I won €1,000, and I called him from the stadium. You owe me €1,000, and then of course he never gave me the €1,000.
Not even one drink. One drink.
Yes, I was there, but yes, he bet €1,000, and there's a video of it. There's video of he betting €1,000, and I won, but I couldn't believe it. It was
That's an insane moment to be there for. Like that Manolas goal. Like how. Was that one of the best atmospheres you've experienced at the Olimpico?
Definitely, because we were there. We lost 4-1 in the first leg, and we were like, okay, this is over. But once you're there, you're like, we're here. We might as well support the team. And then Dzeko scored right away, and a friend of mine was like, oh fuck, now we have to believe in it. And so, you start believing in it, and then De Rossi scores, and now you're into it. And then they couldn't play. Juan Jesus stopped Messi, and Messi couldn't do anything against the Juan Jesus. It was crazy. And then 3-0, and it was insane. Yeah, that's one of the best, of the most exciting moments live. I saw that, and then I was in 2010. Roma Inter, when we won, Tony scores, and we came only 1 point below Inter in 2010. That was the other game that was insane. We're like, okay, something is happening.
It's happening, yeah.
Was it at the San Siro or at the Olimpico?
Olimpico.
All right.
And then, yes, and those were. But it's said that best 2 moments live I saw is they gave us nothing in silverware. So close. That's the craziest when we came so close.
The most boring game of football I have ever watched at the San Siro was Inter Roma when Gasperini and Luis Enrique were managers.
Yes.
It was one of those humid, cold nights in Milan. It ended 0-0. And there was, I think, 1 combined shot on target throughout the 90 minutes. It was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Yes.
But since we were talking about the Olimpico, and in your podcast, Tintoria, you often ask your guests what is the weirdest place they've ever taken a shit on a night out. Have you ever tried the toilet at the Olimpico Stadium?
Yes, but not to take a shit. No,
you'd have to be brave. You'd have to be very brave, I think.
That's a story. It's definitely a story, but no, it never happened yet. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. Because one thing that changed now that when I go to the stadium now, instead of before the pandemic hit. It's that now I'm 31. Now I go to the games and I have to get up to pee like 5 times in the game. Before that, it was fine. I was like, okay, the game is on, so I'm watching the game. Now after 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, it's time to go, because you have 3 beers. Now I'm 31. I'm like, okay, I need to go. I know it's the game. The game is on, but I still need to pee. It wasn't like that before. So yeah, I'm visiting the Olimpico toilets
quite often. Well, maybe if anything, taking a shit at the Olimpico would be good for a stand-up comedy bit. I'm sure a story would come out of it. Definitely. Sure. All right, Rory. Any other questions for Daniele while I retrieve our fans' questions?
There's one thing that stood out to me about Roma, and I think they have a club. They're a club that has a good, they seem to have a good social conscience, right? They seem to be very conscious of how they appear and how they can help. And one thing that really impresses me is whenever you sign a new player, you use it as an opportunity to highlight lost, children that have gone missing. Is that something that makes you proud of your club? And what does it say about Roma as a club? I think it's incredible.
No, I think it's nice. It's good that they do it, and because it works. Lost people have been found because of that. So that's nice. And I think it adds something to it, that you're doing a good thing. It definitely adds something. And then of course, they make memes about it. So oh, we signed someone, and then instead of the lost person, there's Villar, and it's oh which is fun. Everything is made fun of course. But no, I think it's nice. I think that's a good thing. And yes, I am proud of it. When they actually find someone because of that, and because when you see it, you're like, okay, this is football, so maybe it's stupid to attach something to it. But then someone is found because of that post, so you're like, okay, so someone found their husband, their son because of that. That's good. That's good.
Because it's something that I see now. We're going to actually talk about Lazio, I suppose, but they're a club that very much attract the opposite kind of headlines as opposed to positive headlines. Is it something that an extra little thing to dig at them? We do good things whilst maybe your club isn't as famous for doing these things.
But you can't, as a supporter, you can't really, we can't really claim the good things that the Roma society, the club is doing. So, but yeah, I definitely, to my Lazio friends, I attack them for being the fascist. and I have to say, a lot of ultras group are fascist in Italy, and a lot of ultras group in Rome are fascist. But in Lazio, it's almost like a brand,
Yeah.
That's taken way too far. It's always too far, but they take it way too far. It's like something that, and my friends who support Lazio aren't fascist, but when you're there, and everyone is doing the how do you call the saluto romano? It feels weird.
The salute,
yeah. It feels weird. It is strange that they have this identity, and I'm actually sorry for my friends who aren't fascist, who support Lazio, and then but you're attached to this thing.
Look, Daniele, I will say it out my teeth. In this podcast, 50% is giallorosso if they have to choose another Italian team, and that would be Rory. And if I had to pick another Italian team that wasn't Inter, I would go for Lazio. Definitely not because of the political ties.
Yeah, let's just put that in there.
I just had to say it. But this leads to another question by Pepe _Mormile. Or Mormile, I don't know. Se sotto tortura, I will read it in Italian and translate it in English. Okay. Se sotto tortura ti chiedessero di cambiare squadra del cuore, quale sceglieresti? If you were under torture and they forced you to change your club, which club would you pick?
So if it has to be Italian, or if it has to be Italian and a top, a top team, I would maybe go for Torino, because if I have to suffer, I'd be like, yeah, why not?
That is definitely suffer. Yeah, I definitely suffering.
I could easily be a spiteful Toro fan. Yes, that's easy. You're there. You hate all the time. You're like, fuck. Every Sunday night, come on.
And what about the international team? If it's outside of Italy.
I like, in England, I like Chelsea, I have to say. Yes, sorry. I like Chelsea. And
this is the moment of the podcast where we piss each other off. I said that I like Lazio.
Yeah, no, we're just
Chelsea.
I always, for some reasons, then this is. I like the team that's the furthest from Roma. I always like the Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, is the Juventus of Europe. It feels like they're supposed to win. They think that they're supposed to win every year, but I always liked Real Madrid. I don't know why, but yeah, I like Madrid.
Beautiful stuff. And Daniele, one of the last questions. We keep saying one of the last questions, but then we keep going.
It's definitely one of the last. It's right.
You see, I wanted to ask you, I actually listened to a few episodes quite recently because you had quite a short-lived football podcast alongside the comedian Luca Ravenna. The pod name was Tintoria ISS Pro 98.
Yes.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Why did you guys quit? I'm assuming that you're both very busy with your job and everything, but are there any other reasons?
No, yeah, we couldn't keep it up, so we're like, okay, if we can't do it right, we will stop. So that's why. It was fun though. It was fun.
I love that the last episode that you recorded features what happened at the Olimpico when the Glasgow supporters mimicked the Lazio supporters by holding one of their fans down from the feet. That was pretty hilarious.
Oh, that was fun.
That was quite fun. And all right, let's get to the stupid questions. So in his podcast, Tintoria, Daniele often asks the guest who is their favorite foreign dictator. Now, you have a question that is similar to the one that you ask, but it's a little more complicated. If you have to choose a 20th century dictator in a battle like it was a Pokemon, who would you choose? So you get out the Pokeball, you scream his name, he comes out, and he fights Charizard, let's say.
Okay. No, that's a good question. I like...
here, Daniele, it doesn't say foreign dictator.
Yes, that's
it doesn't say foreign, right? So
I'm going straight to Mussolini. Because I think, of all the... Like, I want my Pokemon dictator to win, right? So
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like yes. If we're playing to win. I like his chances against other Pokemons and other dictators too, because he was actually a killer. Like he fought in the war. He was a bad man. He could kill someone. So. He's not like Kim Jong-un. Like, yes, I'm pretty sure Kim Jong-un can't handle himself. Can beat Hitler up anytime. Come on. I like even my chances against Hitler. I think
what do you think?
He's not the strongest of the dictators. I mean,
what do you think would be?
Stalin was, I think, was a
big guy.
I think he was kind of short, so I have a longest reach. Mussolini. Yes. So
what do you think? What do you think would be your Pocky Mussolini's attack against the Charizard? You know that you can select an attack. What would be his special attack?
That's nice. That's hard because he didn't have
many
moves. Yes, most of his moves were actually bad. He was like, maybe self-destruction is like, one of those moves. And it's like okay, let's make an alliance with Germany, and then you both get damaged by this.
He makes an alliance with Charizard, and then they both die.
Yeah, that's the move.
But in the end, you, as a Pokemon trainer, you win in the end because you defeated the enemy.
Yeah, and that's a nice metaphor for Italy. Yeah, Mussolini allies with Germany, then we both lose, but then we are at least freed of fascism.
And some people even argue that we are on the winning side of the war. But that's for another time.
No, but I claim a draw. Like we draw World War II. It's a draw.
Like the Americans do with Vietnam. There is also that. Yes. It was kind of a draw, right? Yeah, you tell yourself whatever makes you sleep at night.
Exactly.
All right, and we've gotten to the final question. By the time our listeners are listening to this interview, we all know Italy's fate towards the World Cup. We will know whether Italy are going to play the final against Portugal or not. But at the moment of recording, it's a Thursday afternoon, hours before the game. Daniele, this podcast is known for wrong predictions only, but you don't have to put the effort into making it wrong. Just say what your heart feels. You're on the Anglo-Italian pod. It's probably going to be wrong.
I like a 3-3.
But we don't do anything with a 3-3.
3-3, and then we advance to the finals in the extra time. Yes, I like a 3-3, and that's wrong for sure because the game is going to suck. That's one thing that I know is that the game is going to suck. It's going to be a shitty game tonight, and 3-3 is not going to happen. But hey, I like our chances. 3-3, and then in extra time we go through.
I'm excited.
And do you think that in a final against Portugal/Turkey we could go to the World Cup?
No, we're fucked. We'll never to the World Cup again. The Euros were a miracle. It's never gonna happen again.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Beautiful stuff. Daniele, just a quick question for any listeners who would like to see you live in Italy doing what you do best, stand-up comedy. Where can they find you? Are you currently on tour with a show?
I am on tour with a show, and if you have listeners in Perugia and Florence, I have very good news for them because on the last day of March, I'm in Perugia, and then the 1st of April, I'm in Florence. But if you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram at San Daniele Tinti, and I put all my stuff there.
Beautiful. Rory, anything to add?
Well, I think that's it. That was great. I think that's it.
A little bit of Totti. I think the Totti bit took up most of the podcast. But
we can do 11 episodes on Totti alone.
Next time we'll do a Totti special, right?
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Daniele, for coming on, and I guess we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.